Hello everyone, welcome to Manga Boys Manga Reading Log. Last reading log of November. I read 15 volumes since I didn't upload one last week. I figured that I would skip last week. Does that make sense? No, it's because I was busy playing Pokemon and SMT. I beat Pokemon, not SMT. I didn't even start SMT. I'm a failure. But whatever. That's okay. I'll get to SMT 5 eventually. But let me go through what I read this week. So, we got Cross Game, Volume 1, which is a 3-in-1, so it's 1, 2, 3. Cross Game is pretty cool. It's a story about this kid who ends up being born on the same day as this girl, who's the most attractive girl in the school, as it is. Right here. I think it's this one right there. Right, this one. Okay, and so, she has high hopes for his future and thinks he'll be able to be one of the best pitchers in the world. Problem is, he hates baseball, so what are you gonna do, So he hates the baseball. But you see this? He's playing the baseball. What the heck? Well, that's because his dad owns a sports shop. That girl's family owns a pitching machine. I don't know what those things are called. I don't really like baseball that much. But so far, this has been a really good coming of age story. It's very similar vibes to me as a Rumiko Takahashi work. In regards to the artwork, I found out as I was reading the artist blurb back here that this guy is one of the most popular mangaka in Shonen Sunday, and follows the same vein as Rumiko Takahashi, which makes sense. Their names rhyme after Adachi Takahashi. It's like the same thing. But yeah, so I did really like this a lot. It's really cool to see these characters grow up because it does do a lot of time skips. They pretty much skip winter, and then they go into the spring, and then they go back into summer. So they go through the years pretty quick. I think this set right here covers 2 or 3 years. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's interesting to see the characters go through elementary school all the way to middle school and start to get into high school. I do wish this was a Toon one though, because this is really, you can see I didn't crack it, but I felt like when I was reading it, that it could definitely happen very easily if I wasn't careful. Maybe not crack, but the spine would fall apart. It just seems way too thick for its own good, in my opinion, but still a really good read. Definitely recommend it. I'll give it my all tomorrow, Volume 2. I didn't read this for a long time after reading Volume 1 because I thought it was just like a kind of a short series, like 2 or 3 volumes. Found out there was a ton. Got the rest of them. This series is hilarious. We start to get into the past about the dad, the past about the main character, and the past about this guy Shinichi. There he is flying. Look at this guy, who our main character has been living with. He is pretty funny though. I really love how this series handles comedy. We have, let's see if I can find us a silly bit. We have this guy get glasses because he thinks that this girl is crushing on him, and she's a fellow, I think she's an editor is what it was, but no, she doesn't like him at all. So that was pretty funny. And not only that, but she turns on his manga, and he goes, let's start off as friends, and then she's like, that's actually the title of the manga, I swear. And he's like, I don't know. And so that was it. He's over it. But he's like, once you are in, your middle age, half of your life is failure. And that's why you can't get discouraged and you bounce right back up because you've got so much failure to cushion yourself with. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the next page, kill me, I'm begging you. Oh, it's so good. So we get to see his past a little bit here with his dad, which is interesting. His dad used to own this failing restaurant, and so that was an interesting piece to see. You can see, yeah, that's what happens when you read the wrong way. It comes to get you. But yeah, so I definitely love this series. It's a shame it's only 4 volumes. I love the art style, how sloppily and lazily it is. It really is just great all around. And also, like, kind of at the beginning, his manga is based off of his life, but it's not really his life. It's like this crazy successful life that he doesn't live. Pretty good. Now here I read a ton of Billy Bat. Okay, this is 6 volumes. I'm halfway through Billy Bat now. Oh, I almost just lost Fire Punch. So we start to go into Harvey Lee Oswald and the JFK killings, which is not what I expected to see at all. Probably not going to show these pages because it's just a crazy series overall. It's really cool to see Chuck Cullen and their dynamic, you know, who Chuck really is. It's cool to see Kevin losing the ability of Billy Bat and having to rely on Jackie and her dad. It's also really cool to see his sensei show up again. And it's also interesting to have Kevin from the Golden Cola Company be so, what's the word, important / pivotal. I'm excited to see what happens with him down the road because I'm sure it's going to do more time skips and we're going to see him get a little bit older. But yeah, oh, Einstein was in it, which was also really interesting as well. I'm still really interested in the history of the Bat. I mean, I don't understand how he can go back in time, but he can go back in time, I guess. And there you talk about how killing a guy that's going to kill Zofu Sensei could be beneficial, and it's just like they don't show him go back in time. I feel like if you write it in the scroll, it will cause Billy to make it happen in the past, but I don't know. I mean, I'm really interested in it though to figure out how that happens. So it's high up there on my reading list every week. So there's a reason why I read 6 volumes of it, even though I was playing Pokemon almost nonstop. It's not because it was I had this checklist of things. No, it's like I couldn't stop reading it. But I'm halfway through it now. There's only 20 volumes, so I probably will read 5 this week, I think. Hopefully I read 5 again. Might be a little tough, but it's hard for me to put down this series. It's very dense, text heavy. So it does take me a little bit of time to read it, but definitely great read. Fire Punch. I finished this up. It's a short series, only 8 volumes. This one not very text heavy, as you can see here. A lot of deaths I did not see coming in this book. Again, this is the same character, the same author. I mean, who does Chainsaw Man. So if you can get your hand on this series, I definitely recommend it. I kind of like this more than Chainsaw Man, and the reason is because I don't know, the story is less Chainsaw Man's like more. It's confusing, but not really confusing to me. The art style and direction is kind of confusing. Like it's so what's the word for it? It's like sloppy, and it's sloppy on purpose. Whereas this is very clean and easy to follow. I really enjoyed this series quite a bit. To see our main character, Agni, have to give up everything to save the world, and then have his new sister also have to give up everything since she learned from Agni. All these characters that you grow up with. Man, like I've been reading this manga for years. No, that Agni grew up with, and Agni raised even some of them, and seeing how they get corrupted and they just can't function in this world. They show you why, why the world is in an ice age, kind of. But I think they showed it at the end of volume 2. It was just really surprising that was it, I was like, wow, when I read it. It just is like so normal compared to everything else. And they talk about how everyone used to be gifted or blessed in the past, but in reality, it's like we just used tools, dog. We just used a lighter to light things on fire. We couldn't light things on fire with our hands. And so because we had those tools, everybody was blessed. At least that's what they say. So really a good read. Very brutal, very adult. It's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of bad scenes in it. Well, not bad scenes, but you know what I mean, like rough scenes. I do definitely recommend reading it. It's a lot of fun to read through it. So yeah, like I said, if you're having a hard time getting Chainsaw Man, maybe try to get this series. Maybe it's harder, maybe it's easier for you. I think it would depend really more on your Barnes & Noble. I think Right Stuff, though, is constantly out of stock of this series, but in person, like a comic book store or something like that, you'll probably be able to get it a lot easier, because I don't think it's as well known, but I could be wrong. Mast has talked about it in the past, but that's been like 5 months ago, so maybe it's kind of back to being lesser known. But yeah, that's what I read this week. Did you guys, or these past 2 weeks, did you guys read anything cool, or did you just enjoy your nice Thanksgiving / play Pokemon like me? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. I'll have a pretty darn sick reading log, or at least I should next week. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.